Okay, so we're back for more content, I guess. This game doesn't really have that much extra content, generally speaking, in comparison to the first game, though. But yeah, this is the Star Fox costume. Do you like it?
I saw a fair bit of it and not much of it at the same time there.
Give me a minute. I'm playing this crazy game and I gotta sprinkle some magic powder on the chicken.
What?
It's like
All right.
it's a reference to some game. I think it's a Zelda game.
Oh, that might be Link's Awakening or something. No, I don't remember spraying powder on a chicken.
I don't know.
What to talk shit. But you might be biting.
I remember
But yeah.
spraying powder on a dude that was high out of his mind.
What the hell? Been a while.
That sounds like a wild party.
But real talk, I've been waiting for this for
So yeah, this fight, unlike in the first game, is unlocked when you finish Chapter 10. That's the Depths chapter. But it costs, I think it's 100 million or something, or 10 million to buy. So it costs a fair bit more. And I really don't like this boss. And the worst thing is you kind of have to fight him to actually get 100% completion.
Right.
As
Wait.
opposed to the first game where it was like a, wow, this is an amazing extra kind of thing.
Yeah, completely optional.
Yeah. I mean, at first I had a little bit of trouble seeing him because he's about the same color as the rest of the area.
Yeah, that's kind of jarring.
Oh yeah, I should talk about this costume. So, the Star Fox costume is a reference to Star Fox. Again, I have zero clue about actual Star Fox, but I'm just saying this is what it's a reference to. It gives you different guns. If you equip Love is Blue, you get the R-Wings, and it gives you like green effects instead.
Okay.
And also her lock-on thing is not a pair of lips anymore, it's that blue square. I'm assuming that's part of the game as well, as in Star Fox.
I don't even remember the lock-on reticule from Star Fox because I was the idiot that never used it. It was basically like 20 minutes to half an hour of me just pressing the A button over and over again.
Right. So, I guess, yeah, like the first game, this is locked to the hardest difficulty. But unlike the first game, the hardest difficulty in this game has Witch Time. Purely because the enemies are designed so that you really can't do anything out of Witch Time. But he's pretty hard.
Mm.
But a nice little thing they added is that in the first game, when you hit yes and you tried again, your deaths would accumulate until you saw 5 skulls, and it would be so depressing because you're like, oh, you tried to fight him this many times and you failed. This one just shows up with 1 skull. And
You can promptly forget.
you can probably forget that how many times you've tried to beat this guy. Also, a nice thing is that you can quit out without losing your money. So in the first game, when you said to continue, it would put you back at the chapter screen, whereas this one puts you straight back into the fight, which is actually really good. Less loading times, basically. But if you say, if you quit it by saying no to continue and it gives you that death screen, you also don't lose your money. So in some ways, this fight is a lot better. But mechanics-wise, this guy's a load of shit.
It's better value for fake, non-existent Disney dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while since I've seen you do the Rodin fight because I didn't even finish the last chapter in the original Bayonetta because I'm terrible at video games. But it looks
We're all terrible at
pretty
video
different.
games. I'm actually going to have like a breakdown of his attacks and everything, and I actually do have footage of the Rodin fight from the first game, and it's really jarring because the fight in the first game is so much more colourful, and this is just a massive like brown and grey.
Well, I mean,
Oh.
Rodin took on the full angelic appearance and stuff as well. Whoa,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so like 1/3 of the way through the fight, he turns into Demon Rodin. And he's just the same attacks that they hit harder and they hit faster.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I show off his death grab attack as well. Do you remember the death grab attack from the first game? There was an attack where he would wind up his fist and he would like sort of giggle a little bit or whatever you want to call it, and then he would grab you, and then it would like.
It was the Akuma grab where the whole screen went black.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that.
That attack is in this game as well, and I guess because this game was a lot more popular, people were like, "Oh my god, look at what he's done to her," you know, kind of thing.
I vaguely recall having this discussion once before.
I think we did mention it once in the commentary or something. It's like people were saying it's rape and some people were saying it's not rape, it makes sense in the game, and etc, etc, you know.
I just think of it like the Akuma grab, but Kamiya did weird shit to it. Kamiya does weird shit to things.
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing about this is that when he does the weird spear uppercut thing with his wings out, it reminds me of Dimitri from Darkstalkers.
Huh.
That's too weird a reference to be deliberate.
So strategy. I don't think there's really much of a consistent strategy for this guy. Like, you can beat him using whatever weapons you want, so I'm pretty much always going to be using the guns, for example. But you can use, like, the whip to throw him around, but the whip doesn't actually throw him around in his demon mode, which is weird, but whatever.
They finally got to a point in boss design where they were like, you know what, the whips might actually be too good.
Yeah, if you could whip him in the second mode, then this fight would be ridiculously easy. But no, they for some reason arbitrarily decided that you couldn't whip him in his demon mode. There's a couple of other strategies as well. You can use unlockable characters like Rosa. I'm gonna go through that in depth in the final video for this LP, but Rosa is basically a massive glass cannon. She deals massive damage and she also dies in about 3 hits. So, a slight improvement over Zero from the first game.
Right.
What other strategies? There's an accessory that can turn you into the mech, and I think the mech is slightly better at killing him than using Umbran Climax.
Do you just do that Donkey Kong combo over and over again, or what?
No, you probably I've never actually tried, because when he goes into demon mode, he just is so fast, and he can actually still hurt you in that mode, so you just mash the punch button. But it took me a long time to actually beat this guy. I think it took me longer to beat this guy than it took me to pure platinum Rodin in the first game.
So, I'm assuming you're not concerned with rank in this version?
Absolutely not. I think this guy is a whole lot of horse shit, to be honest. There's a lot of his attacks that just come out of nowhere,
Right.
and he's incredibly unpredictable. Like that attack there, for example, you can't exactly tell when he'll do it, and the camera is really shit in this fight. Have I mentioned that yet?
Nope, but it's to be expected at this point.
Like in the first game, you were in an arena that had no walls, and the camera could not get caught on anything, basically. But for some reason, they used the same arena that you fight Alruni in, and that has walls that the camera can get caught on. So if you get stuck into the corner, then you're kind of boned.
It's just weird. There are only sometimes walls.
Yeah.
Whenever. Well, bye.
That's me giving up. Okay, like what I did for the first game with Rodin, I'm going to try and break down Rodin's attacks in Bayonetta 2. The only difference being is that I don't think Rodin in this game is particularly well designed, but we'll get to that. Anyway, Rodin has 3 phases in this fight. Generally speaking, he's pretty relentless, and for a first timer who's not used to the pace of infinite climax in this game, he will kill you very efficiently if you don't know what to look for. So hopefully this video can help you with that. So, first phase. First phase is normal Rodin. He's got a heap of attacks, probably because they fleshed him out as a playable character in Tag Climax. Rodin attacks primarily with punches and kicks. He's got a basic 3-punch combo as well as a 2-hit combo starting with a kick then a punch. There's also singular kicks and punches of all sorts, as well as a headbutt. Now, all of these attacks are done at close range, and unfortunately a lot of these attacks do not have clear cues of any sort. So if you're close to him, just watch out, as he'll pull these out of nowhere when you think he's stunned. A particularly annoying one is this attack here. Good lord, this attack is terrible. Now, luckily, he's easily stunned out of these attacks and combos, both in and out of Witch Time, so yeah, just try and break him out of it. Get Witch Time and try to break him out of it. Yeah. There's not really a concrete strategy on how to beat him, apart from getting lucky. Anyway, note that he can charge up any of these attacks. Any of his melee attacks, which is indicated by a red effect, that means he's charging it up. Unless you're in Witch Time, you won't be able to interrupt these charged attacks, but I have seen it happen sometimes with the Wicked Weave out of Witch Time, so your luck may vary. So, similar to Rodin from the first game, this Rodin also has his version of a Wicked Weave. They're pretty much straight up Wicked Weaves because they use the same magic circle as the Witches. He's got a basic 3-hit combo, a punch, an uppercut, and he can also fire one at you. A nice touch I think they added is that the correct rings and stuff show on his left and right fists. It's a nice little detail. All of these attacks are clearly indicated by the generic demon swing sound effect and the visual cue. Note that the Wicked Weave he fires at you can be used when you're on the ground or in the air. So Rodin's got his own sort of shop move, so to speak, such as the Afterburner kick. Similar to Bayonetta, he can do this ascending and descending. Again, this one can be a little bit difficult to read, but it is situational, so generally speaking, if he's in the air, he'll probably do it to you. If you're in the air, he'll probably do it to you. That's pretty much what it boils down to. He's also got his own version of the Witch Twist, which I'm going to call Demon Twist because, obviously, demons. There's not really a clear cue for it, so like the majority of his attacks. So just, if you're close to him, just watch out, because sometimes he just can do it randomly. He'll also do it if you're in the air straight above him. Speaking of which, watch out if he does a Demon Twist then goes off camera, because if he is directly above you, he will pretty much always follow up with the Helmbreaker kick. This one's pretty obvious, so you just need to be careful when he's above you, that's it. He's got a stinger attack, which seems to follow the trend of all the other boss enemy stingers in this game, in which that it has no obvious cue. Unless you want to call going off screen then coming on screen very quickly a cue. Generally speaking, he will do it when he's far away from you to close the distance, but he can do it at any range, which is, yeah, hard to read. Finally, his one unique attack is this massive AoE My Thighs Are Pure Might attack. It's got massive range, and the timing from when you see the cue to when he slams again can change up. So basically speaking, when you hear the cue, just match dodge. I'm serious, there is no learning when to dodge this attack and get Witch Time consistently because it changes up. So unless you're very closely watching his animation, you're not really going to know when. Just mash dodge when you hear the cue. Also remember that its range is a lot bigger than it looks, so if he does do it, just dodge even if you think you're out of range. The animation for him turning into demon mode will knock you out of whatever you're doing, even if you're in Witch Time, which... yeah, I don't like it, but whatever, it makes it dramatic. It will knock you out of whatever you're doing, even Umbra Climax, in Witch Time. Doesn't matter what it is, it will knock you out. Luckily though, Demon Rodin doesn't have much of a unique moveset. It's basically everything he had as regular Rodin, except everything is now charged. Of course everything goes a little bit faster as well, the timings do change a little bit. But generally speaking, he doesn't get knocked out of combos as easily. In fact, he pretty much doesn't get staggered at all unless you use Umbran Climax sometimes, or unless you parry an attack. But again, if you parry an attack, why aren't you just dodging the attack to get witch time? Blah blah blah. We've been through this before. But yeah, it can be a lot easier to read Demon Rodin's attacks because if you know his patterns, you might know, say, when he's doing his 3-hit combo, that he's always just going to continue powering through it regardless of what you do. So you can, yeah, pretty much always get witch time on him. The only difficult thing is just guessing when your witch time ends so you know when to dodge for the next bit of witch time. But that's it. But generally speaking, the best way to deal with Demon Rodin is to sit back and let him attack you, get witch time and chip away his health. Pretty much the same as everything else in this game. Do not try to get in his face because, like regular Rodin, all of his close range attacks are really hard to read. Oh yeah, of course I can't miss the one attack that he adds in Demon mode, which is the grab attack. Obviously this is a callback to the same attack of the first game. Only in Bayonetta 2 it's not given nearly enough indication that it's coming, and you can't block the attack with the Moon of Mahakala, which is a lot of horseshit. So it's the same in appearance, but it's a lot worse, basically. Also different is that instead of just a grab, he will rush across the length of the arena to do it, and can catch you at any point along this path. The only indication you get is a small glowing hand, which by the way can sometimes be blocked by his wings. And if you're close to him, you can hear the faintest audio cue that ever existed for a one-hit kill attack, or almost one-hit kill. It's the most useless audio cue in the world. It does the same thing as it did in the first game, where it'll put you down to 0 health. If he catches you when you're at 0 health, it's a death. It's a shitty one-hit kill attack. It could be designed better. I mean, in the first game it was exactly done properly. I mean, what was wrong with this? His third phase is when you get him down to his last health bar. At that point, all of his attacks become a whole lot faster, and the frequency with which he'll block your Wicked Weave becomes a lot more frequent. So maybe just don't even bother, like I do. The only other notable change is that his grab attack becomes a whole lot faster, and with everything that how that attack is designed, it becomes stupidly unfair because there is no wind up, and rushing at you incredibly quickly pretty much means you're not going to be able to dodge it. So yeah, Rodin, that's Rodin for you. He's a lot of horseshit. But okay, this is this is the actual one where I finally beat him, and by the way, I have not beaten him since this footage. There's not really any strategy to it, but I do use this outfit here, which gives you the extra use of the blocking accessory. And absolutely crucial is actually the Infernal Communicator, which, in case you don't remember, is an accessory that uses a magic and it summons little demons that can attack enemies for you. The point being that you want to maximize the amount of damage you're doing, and by using those little guys, it actually does help.
Right.
But this is the strategy that's worked for me. I mean, I guess it's nice that there's not really an easy way to cheese this guy like you could in the first game. But to be quite honest, I didn't pure platinum him basically because it's just a battle of attrition rather than skill.
He's got to kind of luck out on dodges and stuff.
Basically. And I had already spent way too much time trying to just beat the guy, and I figured I don't know how much more time it would take me to pure platinum this guy in a legit manner, so fuck it, I'm not doing it.
Remember at one point, I think it was when I was recording stuff for Earth and Felghana, it was a weird game.
You guys should watch that LP, right? You should plug it.
I would avoid it, but that's me. There's a point where I had spent like a week trying to kill a particular boss, and then I broke it, and I never went back and actually fought it fairly. At least not on recording, because fuck that.
Yeah.
That's,
I mean, I
that's
know
my
that
favorite thing to do, is just break a boss and never look at it again.
you can definitely break this boss with the Rosa, but I decided not to do it. In the very least, I should try and do it properly. I know what I could have done is try to beat him with all the characters, but again, too much work.
I also remember when I was playing Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, and I'm pretty sure most people did it, but when you got up to the Jetstream Sam fight, and you were just like, oh man, I'm in for a really tough fight, and then you got him in a situation where he just didn't even bother trying to fight you.
It's been such a long time since I
fight.
played that game, I don't remember that fight.
Like, I'm pretty sure I kicked the shit out of him when I first played through the game, even on hard. It was a very strange boss fight.
Well, that game was notoriously didn't get enough development time, right?
Yeah. I don't know, it had a lot of charm, and the gameplay was just kind of, it was fun.
Oh yeah, the game was great. The gameplay could have probably been a little bit more fleshed out, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the game was only like 4 hours long, too, so
Yeah.
it was fine.
Right. So my strategy for Rodin here is just to mash punch and kick and just switch weapon sets. There's no need to actually ever complete a combo because of the way this game's been designed.
Yeah, it seems for the most part a lot of this is just hair-trigger dodging.
Yeah, basically is that.
Is there any instance where he can punish you for dodging at a bad time, really?
Well, this is the thing. Sometimes the timing for his attacks will change and you can't actually tell unless you watch his animation very closely. So sometimes you'll dodge too early and he'll follow up with an attack that is lightning fast and you'll get caught you'll get caught out in it. But yeah. Like that kick right there, where the hell did that come from? I couldn't see it coming.
I'm just expecting right at the end of the fight he just suddenly pulls out a gun and shoots you once and you have to do the whole fight all over again.
I don't show off the death grab in this video, but it's pretty much actually the same animation as it was from the first game. And I don't think people really had a big deal about that attack in the first game. Oh wait, there's that death grab, and did you see how fast it came out?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you expect to dodge that reasonably? I don't think so.
No.
And the best part is you can't block it.
Yeah, you just have to, like...
You just have to
keep
lock
moving.
out. You have to lock out. Like sometimes you'll dodge and he'll catch you at the end of your dodge animation. It sucks.
Something that really bothers me about Rodin is just, like... Maybe it's a thing about a lot of Bayonetta bosses in general, but how quickly they can turn around. If they take
Yeah.
a swing at you and miss, they can all of a sudden just pivot 180 like it's on nothing, and then take a swing in the complete opposite direction to continue the combo.
Oh yeah, like that bit right there. Good call.
Yeah. Like, there's no such thing as flanking in this game.
Nope. That took me at least, I think, 20 hours of recordings to get.
And you
It's
got the
and I
medal
got-
with Rodin's face on it.
Yeah, that's fitting, right? And for some reason you have to press the A button to continue here, I don't know why. So I was like, why isn't this going on? I wasn't relishing my win because it didn't feel like it was legit. I love chicks.
Shit. Where did that come from? Credit where credit is due. You just put your foot down. You won this time. But remember, the devil always gets his due.
And of course you unlock Rodin, the weapon, again. Except this time it's a little bit different. As you can see, it's got two different rings. It's got demon weapons as well.
Right.
And once you beat him, you don't have to pay to fight him anymore. That's a nice change they've added as well. So now you can just fight him whenever you want for free. They've added some nice changes, but the actual boss is terrible. I don't know why.
I mean, you don't know. You definitely know why it's terrible, but...
Well, I don't know exactly why. Like, why did you choose to make this fight bad. You could have chosen to make it a lot better. This LP will end when I burn this disc. Seriously, that fight is... I tweeted all about it. I could not freaking fight him for longer than an hour because this guy would just frustrate me so much. I don't normally get that mad at video games.